Welcome to Road to Billions podcast, the mentality of an entrepreneur. With your host, Moise Bertrand.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It is Moise Bertrand, your host of Road to Billions podcast. It is indeed the first episode of Road to Billions, man, and I'm so grateful for you guys to be listening and tuned in. Be sure to follow my Instagram at billionaire_Moise and also subscribe to my channel for the latest episodes. I wanted to start off this podcast naming it Being True to Myself because this is what we all have to be in order to start the transformation progress. And I want to give you guys a short personal story about something that happened in my life earlier that made me actually switch the throttle on the direction my life was going in and things like that, and how I appreciate life more. So I was working full time at a nursing home, and I'm a junior in college around this time, and I'm just working. I haven't seen my family in months. Everybody just been calling me, but I hang up sometimes, and I never got a chance to really get back to people because I'm a college student. I'm already dealing with so much, and I still feel that pain today that I never got a chance to really connect with my family in the personal and just seeing them all the time level. And what I mean by this, on July 8th, around 8:42, 2019, matter of fact, I got a call from my older sister, and she usually calls me, but she don't really call me like call me if that makes sense. Like, she calls me every once in a while, but when she calls me, it's like, okay, let me pick up because this might be something serious. And when I picked up that phone call, man, I could hear it in her voice that something wasn't right, and I was telling her, hey, what's going on? She was like, well, before I tell you this, are you around anybody? I'm like, I'm at work. Yeah, what's going on? Like, let me know. And she's telling me Edna just passed away. Edna just died. And it was a brief pause. And I'm like, what do you mean Edna just died? Like, how did Edna die? Like, Edna, what do you mean? I was so confused. I just had so many questions on what was going on at that present moment. So she just pretty much told me that, they just found her in the front of a storefront and she was just laid out. So I never really understood my sister Edna because we never had a much of a conversation. It was usually her being transported to clinics or mental asylums and mental centers. So she was really a person of, she had a lot going on for herself, but she was a beautiful soul. And she has so much going for herself as well that I was really, 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 devastated by the way her life turned out and the drastic toll it took. And when she told me this, I just couldn't really understand what was going on. I was still dealing with this schoolwork, and I'm like, man, I should just come home. She's like, listen, don't let this affect you because, Edna, what happened. And it took me a while to really realize the situation was real because I was still a believer even though I went to the funeral. And I seen all the friends and all the families that, knew the family of us. And, I was just in a shock. I can honestly say I lost myself. Everything that I was hoping would go for me at that point in time was seemed real dim and cloudy. And it was just so much going on. I didn't know who I was. I honestly say I didn't know who I was, and a lot of my friends didn't know I dealt with this too. But I have a great time. I have a great way of not showing my emotions to people. And I know a lot of people deal with this as well because it was just something that I didn't feel like everybody needed to know. But those who knew she died knew that this was something that really affected me because I really don't let things affect me. And this was someone I, cherished and I loved. So in the beginning, I was really confused and I didn't know where to head first. I didn't know if this was something that was just going to happen eventually to my father or my mother right after, because that was a devastating death. And me being in college, I was away from home, so it's not like I could be there comforting everybody. It was always a phone call or text that was being sent, exchanged, and everything was just so digital. I didn't feel like nothing was ever gonna get accomplished through just phone and text. So I eventually just started meditating a lot more. I put my business to the side. I was working on this marketing company with my girlfriend. I'm working on the side, and I told myself, well, I'm gonna get back into marketing. I'm not gonna really be into tune with everything unless I feel like I'm better as a person. Like, I was really going through this period of time where I didn't want to be in school no more. I didn't want to go out no more. I felt like I was kind of depressed a bit. And these things were messing with my business aspects of things. And when I say business aspect, I didn't feel like I was putting my 100% into my business. So when finances started playing a big role, when I started taking planes and things of that such back and forth to Miami and such, just to, go see my family and road trips, this was something I didn't care about putting into my business no more, because I was just like, well, I'm gonna be there for my family first. And there's nothing wrong with being with their family first, but you have to understand that the self-care I was doing to myself, it wasn't self-care. It wasn't nothing that was really nourishing my soul or anything as a person. And I come tell you guys that you have to be true to yourself. This is why this episode is called Being True to Myself, is because I had to recognize what the situation was going. I had to recognize if I let myself fall in this depression state, where would it lead to? Who would I count on if I do fall off? What would happen if I let myself get into this turmoil of sadness? What's going to go on? Like, how is my future going to play out? Will my business ever thrive? Will I ever get back into business? I had so many questions that I needed to answer, that is how to get away from society. And I sat down for myself for a few weeks, and I had to recognize the situation. So first I was like, well, okay, I know I'm an empathetic person. That's the first thing. So I let my feelings get really, really, really involved, especially it affected my business. And I let my parents know, listen, I was just like, listen, my sister's death took a real big toll on me, because, she was someone I always, she was so cool as a person. And I had to recognize that was something I had to get over, that grieving period. I had to recognize that, okay, Moise, you are at this point in your life, you're about to become a man. Death is not something that's promised, and it's going to come eventually to everybody, and it will at any given point of time. So it's something that you just have to just take in, and then realize you have no accountability over what happened. And I blame myself for so many months after her death, that I felt like I wasn't a great brother or anything like that. I felt like I was a family member who was away from everybody too much, and I just had so many guilt trips that it just eventually made my mindset feel so cloudy, and I couldn't really get around it. So me recognizing what was going on, I had to sit down and I had to evaluate the situation. And I evaluated myself, and I found out some key aspects of myself. I found out that I learned to speak my emotion through communication. I learned to negotiate skills. I learned to be more tech savvy. I learned to just write out what I thought, my thoughts on paper. I learned to do so many things, and so many strengths I found out about myself. I recognized who was I as a person, as Moise Bertrand. That transitioned me eventually to just being someone who was more prominent into their work. So after a while, me and my girlfriend had a conversation. She told me pretty much, she was like, listen, stop feeling bad for things you have no control of, because things are going to come and go. So you can't let things affect you. Even though that is something that could affect you for a long period of time, you cannot let it take over. You cannot let it take you. So I had to recognize that was the first thing that I let myself go through. And then the transitioning period was me becoming into the phase where, okay, this is what happened. Let's see how we could turn this into a better situation, into a more positive mindset. So I told myself, I know my sister wouldn't want me to sit around and linger and cry all day. I know she wouldn't want me to just sit around and throw my life away. I know she knew that I was going to be someone great one day, so I can't let this situation take away from what is going on in front of me. School, a business, just me being a person of great caliber. I couldn't let myself fall victim. And into that transitioning period was a very painful period, because I had to go through a social distancing with everybody. I just felt like that was the period I had to really put in my efforts, because I lost so much time just working on how to get home and everything. I wasn't essentially working on my business. I wasn't 100% focused, and it came with a lot of problems. I couldn't work with nobody. I couldn't communicate with nobody. I felt like everybody was just so not being sympathetic about my situation. I let my situation break so many friendships and business that I felt doomed. And making that transition, I had to realize that this is the only way I'm going to make things right, if I just put all the effort and time into what I lost previously now. So I had to get into the kickstart mode. I'm like, okay, this is what I'm going to do, and this is what I'm not going to do. I'm not going to sit around and whimper, because I did that for months. What I'm going to do is get back on my grind and show people that, listen, it's okay. It's okay to fall off for a bit. It's okay to work on yourself, and it's okay to start working on a new aspect in life and level for yourself. So the new level I transitioned to was me becoming a senior. And I knew that grad school was coming around, and I'm like, man, grad school's coming around, so let me get on my grind. So I started putting more work into my business, some marketing, Navineeds marketing. I started working on that a lot more, and things just became more vivid, and the path got more clear, I could say. You would know things are opening up for you when you feel like your energy is finally at rest and at ease. And a lot of people told me, hey, I'm really proud of you. And a lot of people may not know that, but you telling somebody, hey, I'm proud of you, I'm confident that what you would do will make everybody proud. You telling someone like that, those compliments, people take favor to that. And that's something I really want to tell you guys to do once in a while. Just tell people, hey, I'm proud of you. Hey, I'm proud of you. Whatever you do, I'm gonna support you regardless. And people may not know, because that takes a toll into your psychological effect, where people feel like people are actually supporting them and they feel more confident. You feel more happy. You telling somebody, hey, I love what you're doing, keep what you're doing up. People gonna be like, okay, woo, I like that. So at least someone's, acknowledging my efforts. So I transitioned to that period of saying, okay, Moise, listen, this is what's gonna happen. Everybody's counting on me to go to grad school, and this is what I'm exactly gonna do. Eventually, I graduated, and I got into grad school. Now, grad school was something that I really just wanted to just do because my mom and parents told me to do. So I was like, hey, whatever is making $100K, massive healthcare administration, who cares? I'm just gonna hop in and do 2 years. But no, I had to sit down and I had to really realize this isn't what I want to do. And I had to go back to that first stage of my life. And every stage of your life is different. You have a new stage of your life where you feel like you have to make a big, drastic decision. And that decision is going to make either you have happiness in the end, or it's going to make you dread the decision you made at that present moment, at that time, that now you have to live with. So I told myself, I'm not going to do 2 years of this program, because this program is already going to cause me too much confusion. I'm out here already doing my marketing, and I'm doing pretty well with it. I might as well take a chance. And me transitioning into this entrepreneurship mindset, I had to really realize that you're going to have to make a decision on the crossroad. And this is the third step, the crossroads. You have a crossroads in your life where two roads are literally going to meet. And this is for every college student, this is for every high school student, middle school student, parent, boyfriend, girlfriend, marriage, fiance. Everybody goes through this new level of a question that is going to change your life. And I had to sit down at the crossroads where I could do this MHA program for 2 years. Yeah, I'll do 100K out when I get out. But will I be happy with this type of lifestyle I set up for myself? Will I really be enjoying it? Because I told myself I never really liked working a job, and I never really will want to fall victim. But how would I fall victim if I don't know what I'm getting myself into? But I knew what I was getting myself into because I asked questions. I asked everybody around who was in that program, how's the program? And people telling me all over the program is very rigorous, and they seemed so doomed that they were just making me feel like I shouldn't be in the program. But that's not the final step, and that's not the final answer I got from that. The final step was, do I want to do this for the rest of my life? And will I actually be happy about doing it? So I found favoritism, I found my happiness in marketing and communication. I told myself, if I'm gonna work for anybody, it's gonna be for myself. And if I'm gonna work for somebody, me being myself, I'm gonna put in twice the work in, because I know I'm just gonna be indulged in my work. And time flies by as you're doing your passion. So your passion is gonna fuel your energy no matter what. If you have a passion for drawing, clothing, anything, time flies by. And by the time flies by, you're gonna realize you're in a whole different aspect and space of your business, your mentality, and then you as a person, woman or man. So at this crossroad, I made a decision, and I want to tell you guys the same thing. So if you listen to this podcast, I really want you guys to make that fine decision where you have to realize that being true to yourself is the only thing that counts in this world. Because if you realize that you have to recognize, and then you have to, sooner or later transition into recognizing what you just recognized, you're going to have to find that answer in the crossroad. And the answer this lies between you. What do you want to do, and how do I want to do it? Is this something I really want to do? Is this true to my character? Is this true to myself? So realizing that you all have infinite potential, listen to my podcast. Everybody here is going to be someone great in life because you have to put your mind to it, and I believe each of you will. make that decision. The decision isn't easy. I can say that because I had to meditate for it for so long. But I tell you this, when I made that switch and being a full-time entrepreneur and taking the semester off, I found myself a lot more. And what I'm doing now, I can say I could do it for the next 1,000 years. And that's just me as a person. Thank God for listening to Road to Billions podcast. Catch you episode 2.